Another ACC team is doing playing Enter Sandman.
I don't know about that.
Against a fellow Virginia school, but man, I love this stadium. And these Louisville fans are ready to go tonight.
Brock Travelstead will kick it away to Kalon Black for JMU. Saturday Night Football, let's kick it from Cardinal Stadium. Black lets it bounce, and the Dukes start at the 25, led by Toddy Touchdown, a fascinating guy. His third school, his sixth season in college, which is becoming kind of a normalcy these days in college football. He began his career a couple of years ago at Temple, 2017 to 2019 there. Then he transferred to Colorado State. This is his first year at JMU, and he's been outstanding.
He has been outstanding, and you can tell that he's a six-year player. He brings a veteran presence to this offense. Kurt Cignetti said it took him a little bit of time to pick it up. By the beginning of fall camp, he was ready to go, and he's playing at a really high level.
Running back with him is Percy Ajay-Obase, who gets the call on the first play from scrimmage and picks up 4 on first down.
Yeah, Kurt Cignetti wants to establish the run. His identity is to run the ball on offense and stop the run on defense. So we can expect to see a lot of Ajay-Obase tonight, and they're going to try to get him the ball as much as possible.
JMU top 10 in the country in time of possession per game. They average almost 34 minutes on offense, which is 8th in FBS. Kurt Cignetti, a hard-nosed guy, Pittsburgh guy. Spent some time on Nick Saban's first staff from 07 to 2010 at Alabama. The clock here in-house does read 14-18 and is moving, as does the play clock. So on second down, Ajay-Obase finds a seam around the left side and picks up a whole lot more. Out of bounds near midfield, and the Dukes are chugging on the ground after a gain of 21.
Now look at Ajay-Obase. He gets around. He's got his pulling guard out in front of him, and that is a great job getting the edge. This is a guy that really likes to run up the middle. He brings a lot of power, but right there you say he's able to get the corner and get upfield for a big first down.
Ajay-Obase, who went over 3,000 career yards a few weeks ago. He's 5th in program history with over 3,150 in his career. From the pistol, 3 plays, 3 runs to start for JMU, and this time Ajay-Obase picks up 1 on first down.
And this Louisville defense loves to bring pressure, but they have done a great job stopping the run as well. And we expect this to be a battle all night. This JMU offense versus one of the best defenses in the country. And the way that Louisville has been playing the past couple of weeks, I know Kurt Cignetti, he wants to stay on schedule. He wants to get in these third and manageable situations so Louisville can't dial up their blitz package that they did a great job of last week against Wake Forest.
It's only second down, but it is loud in here. Coach Cignetti expected that. It was rocking last time against Wake Forest, even if it wasn't a full house, as Scott Satterfield mentioned. On second down and 9, Centeio throws for the first time tonight, and it is dropped by the tight end, Zach Horton, to set up third down and long for the Dukes.
And that's exactly what we just talked about. Kurt Cignetti wants that catch so they can get into a 3rd and 5, but now they're in a 3rd and 9. You can hear this crowd's roaring, and now the defensive coordinator of Louisville, he's going to dial up a blitz and see if they're able to get home and get home to Centeio.
Jeff Flanagan heads up our officials crew tonight.
I could possibly think of had a drop ball, but I didn't really see a big hit. We'll see what the replay shows.
As of now, it's a 3rd down and 9, which Coach Cignetti knows could be trouble against one of the most aggressive defenses in the country, which leads the nation in sacks and takeaways. And yeah, that is probably what they're looking at as a targeting. That's Benjamin Perry, number 10 for Louisville, who came in and delivered the boom against Centeio. Watch him lower and lead with the crown of his helmet.
Ooh.
Yeah, what do you think, partner?
I think that he's going to be out of there. You can't be doing that. Hitting the quarterback, we know that the quarterback there trying to protect at all levels, leaving his feet, leading with the crown of his head. Not a smart play on just a simple RPO to be trying to take out the quarterback like that.
Ben Perry, a really good player for this Louisville defense, listed as a defensive back on the roster, but an outside linebacker on the depth chart. Redshirt freshman from Country Club Hills, Illinois, outside of Chicago, and it might be curtains on his night about 2 minutes in.
I just don't see the need for that. I mean, there's just no need to try to hit the quarterback in this situation. Ball's out of his hands. It's so early in the game. You know you're not going to get a sack there.
After further review, there was targeting on the play by number 10 of the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty. Number 10 is disqualified.
It's a rough night for Ben Perry, whose game is over just a few snaps in.
You hate to see it. First possession of the game. Now he's at a 1st and 10 right here on the 34-yard line.
Mike, what do you think of the targeting rule and the immediate ejection?
I don't love it.
I had a feeling you'd say that as a former player.
These college guys only have so many games they're able to play, and to take one away from them, I don't like the rule.
You saw how upset Perry was. No doubt it was targeting, though, and it sets up 1st down and 10 inside the Louisville 35 for Todd Centeio and company, who breaks a tackle around the left side and skips out of bounds after a nice chunk on 1st down.
And I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of zone reads on both sides of the ball. He doesn't quite have the speed that we're going to see from Malik Cunningham, but this guy is a great athlete, and he's not afraid to pull down the ball and run, and we'll be seeing a lot of that from both sides tonight.
Centeio averages over 5.5 yards per carry, and that's including sacks. He can beat you with the legs. Under 10 on the play clock now. 3 minutes into the first quarter, they go back to Ajay Obase. Another missed tackle for the Louisville defense, and that's a 1st down Dukes. As the grad student from Frederick, Maryland runs hard, Momo Sanogo brings him down after a gain of 17.
He does run hard. He is a downhill runner, breaks his tackle, helmet goes flying, and able to get another 1st down. You see it here again. Look at the strength. There's a reason why this guy is all over the JMU record books, because they are not getting up to the line of scrimmage very quickly. Every time it looks like they're not getting the play in until around 15 seconds. Snap at the ball with about 5 seconds left. So I imagine this is part of their game plan. They're going to take their time, slow this game down, and limit the amount of possessions that Malik Cunningham and this Louisville offense have.
Yeah, playing a little keep away from one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the country, who's been on the sideline for the first 4 minutes of this one, but now we have our first flag. Pre-snap movement against JMU.
False start. Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
All right, so that's Josh Toner, the other tackle on the other side, who Kurt Cignetti described as their best offensive lineman. He's still out with an injury, so they've had to shuffle things around. That's why Toner's playing left guard.
Yeah, and last week against Marshall, they were without both Kidwell and Wyatt, their 2 tackles, and Marshall was able to get after the quarterback a lot. 7 sacks. So it's great to see Wyatt in the lineup. They're definitely going to miss Kidwell.
Now 1st down and 15, and again, Ajay Obase running with a purpose, gets the yardage back, and then a little more. Jarvis Brownlee on the stop after a gain of 7.
This is a really efficient drive by JMU, and they're just running the ball down Louisville's throats. And you see the vision that Ajay Obase has. Great job cutting back, getting upfield, and getting them back into a second and manageable situation after that pre-snap penalty on 1st down.
Now Latrell Palmer is in there, their top rusher last year when Ajay Obase missed most of the season with an injury. He has to be flushed to the left side and dives out of bounds after maybe no gain. Another 3rd down and long coming up.
And a big 3rd down right here. Can Louisville get a sack right here and maybe knock the JMU out of field goal range? I can't wait to see what Brian Brown, the defensive coordinator of Louisville, does right here. Does he bring pressure, or does he sit back in coverage and force them to take the underneath throw?
One of the best 3rd down defense. Play clock at 5. Centeio gives it right back to Palmer, who picks his way forward, and maybe this could be 4-down territory for JMU as they run it on 3rd down and 9, but it looks like the field goal unit's coming out.
I don't love the call there. You got a 6-year quarterback in Todd Centeio. You're not really letting him throw the ball in the first drive. Give him a chance to make a play down the field. He's earned your trust to take care of the football. See if he can push down the field and keep the chains moving rather than settling for a.
And Wise is perfect. So the Dukes are on the board first. After a solid drive to open things up, Curt Cignetti's team leads 3-zip midway through the first.
This holiday, make no.
Welcome back to Cardinal Stadium in Louisville. Drew Carter, Mike Lennon back with you. Glad to be here to see a Louisville team that's won 3 in a row, led by a havoc-wreaking defense. But James Madison starts with a field goal on their opening drive, a 10-play efficient drive that used Jawhar Jordan, the Syracuse transfer, back to receive. Lets it skip through the end zone, and Malik Cunningham and the Cardinals will start at the 25. So, partner, we've talked about this Louisville defense. How do you feel like Malik Cunningham's playing lately?
You guys are in a treat tonight watching Malik Cunningham. This guy is one of the most electric players in all of college football. They haven't been as consistent in the pass game, but this guy is leading the country in quarterback rushing touchdowns and is one of the fastest quarterbacks you will see. It reminds me a lot of a
Here starter Cunningham will start with a throw up the left sideline, incomplete, but here comes a flag. He was trying to connect with his favorite target, Tyler Hudson, against the true freshman Chauncey Logan.
Yes, Tyler Hudson is their go-to guy, and right there they had press coverage, and that route converted into a go route. You see the DB was draping all over him. That's a good job by Lamar, just giving him a chance and drawing the flag. We're going to see a lot of man coverage tonight from this JMU offense, so you can expect to see more of those shots on the outside down the field.
It's their top running back, who came back last week after missing a game with an injury, in the Tennessee transfer, has a solid chunk on 1st down.
Yeah, it was great to see Tiyon Evans back last week. He had a really big touchdown run, and I know these offensive coaching staff was excited to see him back in the lineup. He's battled injuries on and off this year, but they have a running back by committee, but he is definitely their bell cow.
Yeah, Evans, a big reason why they picked up their on the left side, out of bounds inside the JMU 40, and a flag comes in after a late hit. Devin Coles will get credit with the stop and also might be hit with a penalty. Right now it's a gain of 18.
After the player's out of bounds, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 26, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
That is Coles, the redshirt junior transfer from Norfolk State.
Again, we saw Todd Centeio do it. Now we're going to see Malik do it. A little zone read and crashes. He's able to get upfield. There wasn't many times where I was out on the edge like that, breaking into the open field.
Maybe playing Madden. They love this set in the pistol. Now inside the JMU 25 following the penalty. Cunningham flushed and throws complete. What a pitch and catch to Braden Smith, one of their fastest receivers. A gain of 14. The pressure applied by Torres Jones. Cunningham throws through it.
That was a great throw by Malik. Put down and takes another shot a little bit late. But we can't throw a flag on that.
They're trying to beat him up a little bit. How about the fadeaway throw, too, with a hand in the face? 1st down and goal for Cunningham and the Cards. Back on the ground, and that one is stood up in a hurry. Torres Jones was in there first. He's their top tackler with 60 on the season now, as Evans picks up about 2.
And this offense has struggled in the red zone to really throw the ball in the end zone. Them get a touchdown throwing the ball early in the game to really get this offense going.
Yeah, they're 105th in the country in red zone touchdown percentage at barely above 50%. Evans, the running back again, and he gets the call. Tiptoes forward, now puts the head down, and he's inside the 1-yard line to set up 3rd down and goal.
He's low to the ground, he's powerful, he's got those big legs, so he's able to bounce off those tackles. Right here, 3rd down and 1 on the 1. I think we can expect to see a zone read here from Malik Cunningham, where you got both the options to give it to Tiyon Evans or Malik keeping himself.
Heavy set with 3 tight ends. Cunningham throws throws and completes. A juggling grab by the tight end, Isaac Martin. The redshirt senior has his first touchdown of the season, and the Cardinals have.
It's all about good job by Malik with a play fake, and he's able to slip out of the backfield and get that first touchdown.
How about that? You bring three tight ends in the super jumbo set, and you throw it to one of them after the play fake.
Touchdown after the play. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 41 on the defense. Correction. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 41 on the offense. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the succeeding kickoff. That's number 41's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
I think I was thinking 41 on defense. Do we have the right team there? No, it turns out it was against Martin. You can't blame him for being fired up on his first touchdown.
He's a local kid. He's a fifth-year senior from Trinity High School in Louisville, Kentucky. That's awesome to see.
They bring out James Turner for the extra point. And Louisville leads 7-3 after Cunningham to Martin.
And JMU's defense is expecting a run, but what they do is they're able to slip Isaac Martin out in the end zone.
And then coming at you from Lamar Jackson Way, the speed limit is 8. They said, that feels a little too slow. It should be like 800 if it's named after. Retrieve it initially, has to pick it up, and he goes down near the 5-yard line. So James Madison will be backed up near their own goal line on their second drive of the game. Here's our Week 9 Monday Night Football matchup. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, he leads the Ravens into New Orleans to take on Alvin Kamara and the Saints, who shut out the Raiders Sunday 24-zip. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN. A lot of fun as Lamar and the Ravens lead the division. There is an injured player on the field, and it is the return man, Kalon Black. And that was a tough spot for him after looked like he wanted to let the kick bounce through the end zone. It was a short one. Had to go back and pick it up, and he paid the price for it. Marvin Dallas made the tackle, and Black is down near his own 5-yard line. That's where JMU will start with the ball. We'll take a short break and come back with the Dukes on offense. Today, and to celebrate, Louisville wearing their Iron Wings uniforms for the first time. As James Madison starts at their own 6-yard line with a new drive, Percy Ajay-Obase gets the call. You get an up-close and personal look at the uniforms, which were unveiled in August. No one really knew when they were going to wear them. They released earlier this week that they'd be wearing the Iron Wings. I think they're a good look. What do you think, Mike?
They're a good look, but I just feel like every week in college football, you don't even know what the team is. They switch up the uniform so much. I know in recruiting, but back.
You see Keitrell Clark coming off one of the best games a Louisville defensive player has put on in recent memory. He scored touchdowns in back-to-back weeks as Todd Centeio gives it back on the ground. And James Madison trying to move the rock with Percy Ajay-Obase. It'll set up third down again as Yasir Abdullah was in there on the tackle. By the way,
it is very apparent that Kurt Cignetti is going to want to run the ball on first and second down in this game. So they're able to get into these third and short situations. We got a 3rd and 2 here. He saw the tape last week of what this Louisville defense did, and he knows that they're going to have to get the ball out quickly. But on 3rd and 2, they can get the ball out quickly and still convert.
Play clock winds again. It is loud in here. They snap it with 1 on the timer. Incomplete, and that could have been dangerous. Again, it was the tight end, Zach Horton.
Throw a little receiver screen. Got to make that play, and that's an easy conversion.
So 2 drops already for Zach Horton, a normally sure-handed tight end who's got a couple of touchdown grabs already this year. But it brings out Sam Clark, the JMU punter, to kick it away to Braden Smith. The Dukes now 0 for 2 on 3rd down. They have not converted one in a long time. They were 0 for 17 in their last game against Marshall a couple weeks ago. Smith, who calls for the fair catch just outside his own 40-yard line. After the 47-yard punt, the Cards back on offense, and here's our Big 12 ABC Saturday Night Football game presented by Capital One. This still undefeated 7th-ranked TCU Horned Frogs got a little scared today from Texas Tech, still unbeaten. Their balanced attack, they go to Austin to take on Bijan Robinson. And number 24 Texas, still ranked despite 3 losses. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, and also available.
Still got a lot of time left.
Back is flushed. And he'll tuck it and run and gallop out of bounds. After a solid gain of 4 on first down, Francis Meehan again ushers him to the sideline.
And I thought it was interesting when we sat down with Scott Satterfield. I asked the question, now what do you tell Malik when he takes off and runs? Are you worried about him taking a big hit? Because a lot of times he's been banged up throughout his career. He said, no, I'm just going to let him do his thing. I'm not going to hold him back. And you see Malik time and time again get up. He is tough as nails, even after taking some really big shots.
On second down, it's Tiyon Evans who shoots through the middle. He's near the first down marker, but a flag comes in after the play. And it'll be a hold against the Cardinals. That was Jawhar Jordan, my mistake.
Holding, offense number 70, 10-yard penalty, second down.
It's a left tackle, Trevor Reed. It's a Louisville offensive line that's been banged up as well, just like on the JMU side. Tyler Hudson has really been the constant at center. Their left guard, Caleb Chandler, was a first-team All-ACC performer last year. He's been dealing with some injuries as well.
He has, and Scott Satterfield made a point to us yesterday how tough Caleb Chandler is, battling through these injuries, toughening it out week in and week out. I mean, this is a long season. If you start the season off with an injury and you got to keep fighting through it week in and week out, a lot of credit to those guys up front to play through the pain.
Now second down and 16 after the penalty. Cunningham has to swing it out wide. And this is another beautiful play call for the Ville as Braden Smith dances out of bounds. After a solid gain on second down, it's 14 yards to set up third down and short.
That's 2 times early in this game that Malik has had guys in his face, and he's thrown kind of that fade away to Braden Smith. Gets him on the edge and then sets up another third and short for this Louisville offense.
Zamari Huggins-Bruce, one of the speedsters in this Louisville receiver room. Good to see him out there running around. We know he's a little bit dinged up, which is a common theme at this point of the season. There you see Caleb Chandler, who's making his 47th consecutive start and 50th overall in his Louisville career. Third down and short. Cunningham throws off his back foot, incomplete. That time he was trying to find Braden Smith, a little bit out of his reach, and now decision time at Louisville's own 49-yard line.
Yeah, that's a play you would like to see Malik make. They brought the cross dog up the middle. He was hot, so he had to get the ball in his hands, but he didn't need to retreat as hard as he did. He faded away harder on those than when there was a guy a foot in front of his face. Definitely a throw that Malik is capable of making.
All right, Louisville's lined up to go for it. Near midfield. On fourth down and 2. Jawhar Jordan is the running back behind Cunningham in the pistol. Cunningham keeps, has to escape, breaks one tackle, now looks to throw. He is swarmed by Dukes and snowed under. Cunningham goes nowhere. James Carpenter, 99, was in there first, and now JMU starts with the ball in Louisville territory.
What a job by this JMU defense. They are number 1 in the country in rush defense. We're not talking just in the Sun Belt, number 1 overall. And the constant theme we heard from the Louisville coaches is how well this defense is coached. They're disciplined, they stay in their gaps. And right there you see it. Even a guy with the speed of Malik Cunningham, everyone stayed in their gaps, and there was nowhere for him to go.
I might give them extra credit, too. They're missing 2 of their best defensive players. Jalen Walker, the linebacker, and Sam Kidd, the safety, second and third on the team in tackles. Neither of them is playing tonight. So with just over 2 minutes left in the first quarter, Todd Centeio cuts it loose on the first play of the drive. It's a jump ball, and it's incomplete. Looked for a second as they tried to get it to Reggie Brown. The Jarvis Brownlee, the FSU transfer, would have an interception, but it falls to the turf.
That was a good job by Jarvis Brownlee coming in and making a play, but really you'd like to see Todd Centeio put that ball a little bit more on the outside shoulder and give his receiver a better chance so he doesn't have to come back on the inside and make a play for the ball.
Credit Reggie Brown, the wideout, for turning into a defender, breaking up a potential interception. Second down and 10. It's Ajay Obase with another strong run, but on second down it brings up third down and medium against this Cardinals defense. Keitrell Clark was in there on the tackle. continuing his superb play as of late.
And we are in that 4-down territory range. So do they run it and give it back to Percy so they can get into a 4th and short and maybe break one free? Or do they try to let Todd Santillo let it rip and get this first down here?
Remember, their kicker, Camden Wise, has a career long of 35. And they are nowhere near that range right now. Play clock is at 3. Santillo's got to go.
Timeout.
And Cignetti does burn one.
Timeout. James Madison, first charge, timeout. Timeout be 30 seconds.
It was interesting when we were talking with Coach Cignetti. He said, hey, even though it was only like 2/3 full last time against Wake Forest, it was super loud in there, so they were ready for this. But on that time, they had to use a timeout.
Yeah, and I know it seems like they're trying to slow this game down. We talked about that. But some of these Teo can get up to the line of scrimmage and kind of figure out what defense they're in. And I know they like to go to the sidelines at time, change the play, get the play in a little quicker to give your quarterback time to work.
James Madison fans have to be thinking, when are we going to see a 3rd down conversion? Mentioned last time out against Marshall, 0 of 17. That was the most 3rd down tries without a conversion by an FBS team all season. Then the bye week, and now they start 0 for 2 tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they played 2 weeks ago, coming off a bye. So we're talking it's been almost 21 days since they've had a 3rd down conversion. I think that streak needs to come to an end here shortly.
Ajay Obase is the running back behind Santillo in a tight set. And he gets the call as this is 4-down territory for JMU. Picks up 5, and he's right near the marker, but short by a few inches. Yaya Diaby on the tackle, and the Dukes, you have to think, will go for it here. 4th down and 1. They hurry it up. Ajay Obase gets stood up and walled off. He did not get there. The Cardinals defense stands tall again. A turnover on downs gives it back to Malik and company.
That is a great job by this Louisville defense, swarming. JMU trying to catch them off guard, run the same play, get up to the line of scrimmage quickly. But this Louisville defense was ready and came downhill and was able to stop Percy.
Looked like MJ Griffin was in there first, the Temple transfer. How about the safety coming down and fitting the gap and forcing a turnover? This is a confident Louisville defense, and rightfully so. 8 sacks, 8 takeaways in their last game against one of the best offenses in the country in Wake Forest. And they start with a run with Tiyon Evans up the gut to start a new drive with under a minute to play in the first quarter.
And we're really seeing 2 teams offensively that are clearly trying to establish the identity of running the football. We're seeing a lot of these inside zone runs, some outside zone runs. But it is evident that they went into this game saying we are going to establish the run.
They don't have to run a play if they don't want to. But they will. The final play of the first quarter is a Cunningham throw, testing the left sideline, incomplete. It would have been a tough catch, but it goes off the hands of Braden Smith as Cunningham felt the pressure.
Yeah, they brought the nickel off the slot right there, and it was supposed to be a naked bootleg similar to this play that he forced Malik to pull up. Again, a guy in his face, a tough throw, but one that I know Malik is capable of making.
Now this will be the final play of the first. Louisville's 1 for 2 on 3rd down tonight. Snap it with the play clock at 2. Cunningham with time. Now has to escape, and he gets crunched. Cunningham brought down by Mikhail Kamara. A redshirt freshman from Ashburn, Virginia, with a loss of 11 to end the first quarter and bring up 4th down.
And you'll see right here, they bring the same pressure again. They bring this nickel off the slot, disguise the coverage, cause a little confusion for Malik.
Hottest teams in America. Louisville winners of 3 in a row, including last time out, a dominant win over Wake Forest, 48-21, in which they forced 8 turnovers in the second half. against a top 10 team in the country. They lead 7-3 after the first quarter against James Madison. Drew Carter, Mike Lennon back with you here at Cardinal Stadium. After the sack, Mark Bassett out to kick it away for Louisville. Josh Surratt back to receive for JMU, and he's got space, fielding it at his own 25. And a group of Cardinals fly to him and bring him down at the 30-yard line. So that's where the Duke's offense will come back out. And they've been pretty quiet, 64 total yards, actually outgaining the Cardinals. But, Mike, what do you want to see from the JMU offense to really grease the wheels here?
You know, I don't hate what they're doing. Clearly, Cignetti said we're going to win this game running the football and slowing it down. So they're sticking to their game plan, and at a 7-3 game, you can afford to do that. Now, if this game turns into a 2-possession game, you're going to have to start passing the ball. But I like that they're sticking to their identity.
Todd Centeio starts with a handoff. Mason Reiger is in there to blow it up in a hurry as Percy Ajayi-Obase, who's been busy early. That was his 11th carry of the game for 60 yards, but it only went for 1. Ajayi-Obase, who, if you're just joining us, is 5th in program history in rush yards, 4th in attempts, and 2nd in touchdowns. Only Khalid Abdullah has run for more in a Duke's uniform. Again, it's 31 in purple and gold, and again, this one is stuffed. Looked like Yasir Abdullah, who's playing as well as any defender in the country. 22 in gray was in there along with Dorian Jones.
Yeah, Yasir Abdullah is an absolute force for this Louisville defense. He's the best defensive player they got. He does it all. He's fast off the edge. He's strong. He can cover. He even had an interception running with the receiver 2 weeks ago against Pitt.
Yeah. Coach Brown, the defensive coordinator, told us he's a 4-4 guy who could be a 4-3 guy, playing outside linebacker and rushing the passer. Good luck. Another 3rd down for JMU. Cardinals show pressure and bring 6. Centeio stands in, throws, incomplete. Again, trying to find the tight end, Zach Horton. But again, no conversion on 3rd down. They are now 0 for 5.
And that's what Brian Brown is going to do. He wants to confuse the quarterback. He's going to try to confuse Centeio. What they did there is they started the safety down, and at the snap they rock and rolled it. He runs all the way back to the post safety. It's a lot on the quarterback. Leads to an erratic throw and a play that potentially would have been able to get a 1st down.
Todd Centeio yet to complete a pass. He's 0 for 4 with 1 throw on each possession. Braden Smith back to receive the punt, and it is a good one from Sam Clark. The JMU downs inside the Louisville 5. Cardinals offense comes back out wearing those Iron Wings jerseys. Louisville leads 7-3, but they're backed up deep in their own territory. The Cardinals will start at their own 5 after a 64-yard punt by Sam Clark of James Madison. So Malik Cunningham and co have to go 95 yards if they want their 2nd touchdown tonight. Jawhar Jordan is the running back behind Cunningham. The 4th-year starter will throw on the first play of the drive and complete. Left sideline. A 1st down for Louisville as Tyler Hudson, the Central Arkansas transfer and their best wide receiver this year, moves the sticks.
And right there, you saw the DB was kind of in a press, and then on the snap, he bailed out of there. And Malik Cunningham was just able to hit the simple hitch route on him. Tyler Hudson does a great job catching the ball, getting upfield, and doing the 1st down.
Hudson, one of the best contested catch guys in the country. That time he was wide open. 1st down. It is Jordan around the right side. And a short gain on that 1st down run after Jamare Edwards made the tackle.
Tell you what, running on this defense, it's a grind. There are no easy plays. I don't expect to see one just completely break free unless it's Malik Cunningham on the edge, but we saw earlier they were still able to contain him on the 4th down earlier.
Second down and 7. Cunningham shoots it in there, complete. Another first down through the air as they find the tight end, Marshawn Ford, their top wide receiver last year, having another strong season for a gain of 10.
Good job by Malik right here. Gets through his progression really quickly. He finds his guy Marshawn Ford, who's really their utility guy. He can do it all. He can play all the positions. Just a simple OTB route. OTB stands for over the ball.
Why do they call it over the ball?
I don't know. Syracuse education? Come on.
Jawhar Jordan again on the carry. Speaking of Syracuse, he's an Orange transfer. Dynamic playmaker who also returns kicks for them. Second year at Louisville. Backing up Tiyon Evans, the Tennessee transfer.
Different era in college football. I mean, you look at these depth charts, it's like this guy went to this school, this guy went to that school. It seems like barely half the roster even started here at Louisville or JMU.
It's almost like why even talk about the high schools when the previous school was usually in college. 4 minutes into the second quarter. Cunningham keeps. Looked like he thought about throwing. Instead, he dashes toward the sideline to bring up third down and about 3. We talked about the running backs. We've seen Evans and Jordan already. That's Travion Cooley, who's not playing tonight, out due to personal issues. He's their third leading rusher this year. Last year he's second this year. So they're doing it without 23 tonight against the top run defense in the country statistically. On third down and 3, Cunningham throws. It's a dart again. It's Ford. That one wasn't over the ball, but it's good enough for a first down.
I'm glad of your Syracuse. They didn't just teach you that beautiful voice you have. But right here, they want to get the ball out of Malik's hands quick. Last third down, JMU brought the pressure, got the sack. Now they get the ball out of his hands quickly for the first down.
After the gain of 11, a first down run that picks up no gain. It was Jawhar Jordan again, Trent Hendrick, along with Isaac Ukwu in there on the tackle. Mentioned earlier that a couple of Dukes are out tonight. Jalen Walker, one of their top linebackers, and Sam Kidd, maybe their best safety. Hendrick along with Skylar Martin expected to fill the void that Walker leaves, their second leading tackler.
And Sam Kidd was a big loss for this team, a senior out of Northern Virginia, Madison High School. They're definitely going to miss him, and we're expected to see someone of a rotation to see who could fill that spot for him.
After the play fake, Cunningham throws incomplete. He put it right on the hands of Tyler Hudson, but we'll check the flag.
All we heard all week was Tyler Hudson has the surest hands they've ever seen. Look at it and don't get ahead of yourself.
He's been super productive in his first year here in the Ville. Look how Jeff Flanagan gives us the signal.
Formation, more than 4 players in the backfield. That penalty declined. Third down.
And then makes the call. So the penalty decline will bring up third down.
That's an interesting rule in college football compared to the NFL. College football, you can have as many guys on the line of scrimmage as you want. You just can't have that many guys off the line of scrimmage. For NFL, you have to have the exact number on and off on every single play.
Unless you're Bill Belichick and you can bend the rules. Cards 2 for 4 on third down tonight. The play clock was at 2, and Scott Satterfield is out near the numbers.
Timeout. Louisville.
You barely
First charge
see
timeout.
Satterfield in that camo hoodie, but the officials did see him in time to call timeout. Louisville's first one tonight. They'll shake up the college football playoff rankings. Georgia a lock to be #1. We'll see how far Tennessee falls Tuesday night on ESPN. Third down and 10, Malik Cunningham and the Cardinals. Cunningham waits, pumps, now looks to run near the sideline. He's near the line of scrimmage, directing traffic. Probably couldn't have thrown it. Down with a gain of 1 as Isaac Ukwu was in there, a redshirt senior from Upper Marlboro, Maryland, #0, a guy who was second team all conference last year, brings up fourth down.
And I love what defensive coordinator for JMU, Brian Haynes, did right there. Before the timeout that Scott Satterfield called, they showed pressure. They showed this double A-gap mug. Clearly, Scott Satterfield didn't like what he sees. So what does Brian Haynes do next? He drops into max coverage. They only rush 3. It's the chess match. It's the game within the game between these coaches. Great play call by there. Nothing open downfield, forcing Malik to scramble for no gain.
It brings out Mark Bassett to kick it away. That's a bomb, but a little too long as it lands in the black, white, and red paint for a touchback as James Madison's offense comes back out on the field. Todd Centeio, Toddy touchdown, back after missing their last game against Marshall with a pulled oblique injury. After the bye week, returns for JMU. He's yet to complete a pass, and we're midway through the second quarter. Centeio's 0 for 4, 4 drives, and incompletion on each one.
Yeah, I can't say we were exactly expecting this. I mean, this is a guy that's thrown 17 touchdowns through really only, the 6 games that he played in. He's had some incredible games against Georgia Southern, threw for over 400 yards. I mean, this is a guy that can throw the ball around. But it's just a sign that they're going to stick to what the game plan was coming in against this Louisville defense.
Percy Ajay-Obase gets the carry after Centeio did well to field the low snap. Ashton Gelati blows it up in a hurry for a short gain on first down. And Centeio, you mentioned the numbers. They've been off the charts. He's leading the Sun Belt, 4th in the country in total offense per game at above 350. And it's a great story, too. I mentioned his 3rd school, his 6th year in college. He was diagnosed with lupus when he was in high school. His mom also suffers from the disease. And Centeio was in a hospital bed for 10 days. Didn't even know if he was going to live, let alone play college football. He's been a great story this year for JMU. Again, the play clock is low at 1. They get the snap off. Centeio keeps, and he's a threat with the legs around the left side. And he is bopped out of bounds to bring up 3rd down and 3. And the Dukes haven't converted a 3rd down in almost a month.
So right here, again, another zone read. Gelati really crashes, forcing Todd to keep the ball. 3rd and short. Come on.
Gotta have
21 days. Let's go.
21 days.
First down.
They're 0 for their last 21, too. 0 for 4 tonight. They were 0 for 17 in their last game against Marshall. Centeio to throw. Up the middle,
there
complete.
We go.
Hallelujah. First down, James Madison. They convert on 3rd down as Chris Thornton, their top wide receiver, makes his 151st career catch, now tied for 6th in program history.
Sigh of relief for JMU fans. Chris Thornton, this is their #1 go-to guy. Good job running the under route, crossing the DB's face, getting the first down. And now it looks like JMU's going to a little bit faster tempo. Yep, check with me. Never mind.
This counts as faster tempo. They've been snapping it with under 5 on the play clock a lot tonight. Ajay-Obase more tough running down near the marker as Chandler Jones, the cornerback, paid the price, and that's enough for a first down. How about that back-to-back first downs for the Dukes?
Signetti, you talked about Todd Centeio earlier. Transfer from Temple, goes to Colorado State. They hire a new coach. He was looking for somewhere else to go. Signetti said they were looking at a handful of quarterback transfers, but right away, that initial conversation over the phone with Todd, he struck him as a guy that could be a leader of this offense.
Yeah, Centeio was the starter at Colorado State last year. The new coach, Jay Norvell, told him they were not going to renew his scholarship, so he had to find a new place to go. And he gives it here to Latrell Palmer as Ajay-Obase gets a well-deserved breather. And Centeio's really been a revelation. You mentioned what Coach Signetti told us, maybe 6 to 8 quarterbacks in the portal they were looking at, and Centeio kind of blew him away from the start.
Yeah, he liked his film, but then like we said, we liked all the other intangibles he brought, the competitor, the team guy. He said he's caring. And he really has been a huge reason why JMU was able to crack into the top 25 in the first season of FBS.
2nd down and 7, another run for Palmer, who gets lassoed down after a gain of 2 by Dorian Jones. So JMU faces another 3rd down. Centeio's a guy from South Florida, went to Dwyer High School, same alma mater as
Jacoby Brissett.
Pack pride, baby. Another former NC State quarterback. He's a guy who was starting in 9th or 10th grade against like St. Thomas Aquinas, powerhouses down south in Florida. Centeio is built for this. He's finally found the right home in his 6th year in college.
Yeah, Coach Signetti even mentioned that he was originally committed to Miami.
Yep. Al Golden got fired. How about that for a blast from the past?
Oh, man. If he was getting recruited by Al Golden, that shows how old he is that he's still playing.
Right. All right, now the play clock's at 1.
Timeout. James Madison, second charge timeout.
And we will step aside as Curt Cignetti and company talk it over, trying to keep the drive alive.
The magic is
On Bijan Robinson and the number 24 Texas Longhorns. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, and it's also available on the ESPN app. Kalon Black, the running back next to Todd Centeio, and they call his number on the screen. He dances forward for a first down and lowers the shoulder inside the Louisville 35.
Great play call by Curt Cignetti. Get those pass rushers coming upfield, throw the screen. And I just love the way these JMU running backs run downhill. Split defenders, crease it, get another first down.
Gain of 19 for the redshirt freshman from Virginia Beach. Curt Cignetti, no panic on the sideline. His offense starting to round into form here with under 4 to play in the first half. Ocean man, the tight end, Horton. Centeio gives it back to Black, and look at 6. He is running hard tonight. That's another first down to the Louisville 20. Momo Sanogo, the Ole Miss transfer, finally made the stop. Gain of 13.
I'll tell you what, man, all of these running backs that JMU have, they're just strong to bounce off these tackles. And we're going to keep seeing them ground and pound it if they can get away with these running backs playing like they are.
Forced a missed tackle by MJ Griffin, who's a great tackler from his safety position, made the stop earlier tonight in the hole. And now JMU in the red zone. Still Kalon Black out there. Another hole for number 6. He wore a big hit after a gain of 8. Dorian Jones with the hit stick, but it brings up second down and short.
And look at the job these guys up front are doing. I mean, these are big gaping holes. They bring the pressure off the edge. They see it. They get out to it. I mean, even I can run to that hole.
You said earlier you weren't that fast. I think you could make it.
You obviously never watched me play.
Your Wolfpack are up early, by the way, 3-0 in the first quarter against Wake. Ajay Obase is back out there. Now on Centeio's left hip. And they do give it to the grad student from Maryland, who crawls his way forward for a first down to set up 1st and goal from the Louisville 9.
Those are those hidden yards, those dirty yards where he gets hit at the line of scrimmage, but is able to stumble forward and get a few more yards. Gets him inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal. Let's see Toddy touchdowns. Get himself one.
We've been itching to say that all night. Under 2 to play in this first half. First down and goal. Centeio read it, gave it to Ajay Obase, who waltzes in for the Duke's first touchdown tonight, and they're back out in front.
I'll tell you what, this is not how Louisville saw this game started out, coming off the way they did last week, but this run is just so effective. They bring the tight end back across the screen, a little sift block, and these running backs continue to show their vision. Easy touchdown there with a huge hole.
Give credit to Tyler Stevens on the nice block for Ajay Obase. It is his 36th career rushing touchdown, 2nd most in program history. Camden Wise out for the extra point after an 11-play, 80-yard drive that took up almost 7 minutes.
And that was a statement drive by JMU's offense, going up and down the field, running the ball, and finish it with Piercy in the end zone.
An 11-play, 80-yard, 6-minute, 42-second touchdown drive. James Madison leads here at Cardinals Stadium with under 2 minutes to play in the first half. As Percy Ajay Obase, fresh off his 36th career rushing touchdown, to give the Dukes the edge. Drew Carter, Mike Glennon back with you. Glad to be here at Cardinal Stadium on a beautiful night in Derby City. Connor Madden, the kickoff specialist, sends it back to Jawhar Jordan. And the Cardinals will start the 2-minute drill at their own 25. And now let's take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings, brought to you by Allstate. Tennessee at the top. They will not be as of Tuesday. Interesting to see how far they're going to fall with a loss to the presumptive #1 team as of next week. And then look out, Clemson. We're talking ACC here. They're down by 2 touchdowns against Notre Dame.
Yeah, a lot of people were wondering if Clemson deserved to be in that top 4, and seeing them down 14-0, that's not good for the ACC, because if Clemson loses 1, I just don't see a way that they get in.
I think they absolutely deserve to be in the top 4, but what did I tell you earlier?
Notre Dame.
Look out for the Irish. They're playing really well right now. Louisville starts the 2-minute drill with Chris Bell, the wide receiver, around the right side for a first down, Cardinals.
2-minute drill. Let's see what Malik can do when he's forced to throw. Now, he can still pull the ball down and make some plays with his legs, but we can really see either side throw the ball down the field. But now they're kind of forced into a situation where they're going to have to challenge these JMU DBs.
It was a gain of 14. Stop the clock as Bell went out of bounds with under 2 minutes to play in the first half. Cunningham to throw now. Incomplete. Trying to go to the left side. Nice job by the running back Jalen Mitchell to pick up the blitz there, but it falls incomplete trying to go to Smith.
That was a good job picking up with the blitz. But again, we need to start seeing some of these completions to move the ball. We can't just do it all on the ground, especially in this situation with only 1 minute and 30 left on the clock.
Cunningham 7 of 11 for 79 yards and a score tonight. That was on their first drive. Here comes the heat from the Dukes. Cunningham stands in there and throws incomplete. He was trying to get it to Jalen Carter, the former walk-on on scholarship now. Josh Surratt with nice coverage.
Cheese. Our guy Cheese.
That's right.
If Cheez-Its, you guys listening, any cheese companies? The guy's looking for an NIL deal.
Any kind of cheese. Chuck E. Cheese, why not? His dad gave him that nickname when he was younger and he lost a video game, and his dad said, "You want some cheese with that wine?" And it stuck ever since. They keep it on the ground, and that is Mitchell. And Mitchell finds a hole and takes it into JMU territory inside the 45. Take that, Jawhar Jordan, 25, not 15. First down, Cardinals, and the clock will move.
An interesting play call by Scott Satterfield. 3rd and 10 and just running the ball, but it pays off for them. Now they're in territory, almost in field goal range, need points going into halftime.
They do have 2 timeouts as the clock winds. Cunningham looks, throws, it's a missile, it's complete to Tyler Hudson. And T. Huddy between the hashes, directing traffic. There goes Hudson. He had eyes on the pylon, but he's pushed out of bounds inside the 5. Chauncey Logan saved a touchdown, but a huge pop for the Cardinals.
And a great job by Malik getting the ball out quickly, getting in the ball into Tyler Hudson's hands. More of a guy that's known for his short hands than he is for his speed. But right there, the elusiveness to get out, make a few guys miss. Now on the 4-yard line.
Hudson looked like a yak machine that time, a 40-yard gain, and now Louisville's got to be careful not to score too fast. Some confusion defensively for JMU.
Timeout. James Madison University, 3rd, final charge, timeout. Timeout will be 30 seconds.
Kick off your Week 9 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the app. I'm really excited for this one. Chris Berman sits down with Josh Allen. No one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, especially this year. Plus, Matt Hasselbeck hits the field to go all access with Kirk Cousins and the 6-1 Minnesota Vikings, who never get any respect from anyone. The crew also has all the early breaking stories, injury updates, and previews of each game right up to kickoff. That's right, the Vikings 6-1 with the 2nd best record in the NFL, but nobody thinks they're any good. That's fine. That's fine. You are what your record says you are, according to Bill Parcells. First down and goal for the Cardinals inside the Duke's 5. Jawhar Jordan is the running back behind Malik Cunningham, who's one touchdown away from tying Lamar Jackson's program record with 50 rushing scores. And Cunningham keeps and jukes, and he is swarmed. Brings Louisville outside the 10. Isaac Ukwu was in there first.
And we went into this game talking about JMU's rush defense, #1 in the country, but we also said they have not seen a quarterback like Malik Cunningham. But right now, this Louisville offense, they cannot get anything going with Malik on the edge. This is really impressive by the JMU defense.
Elected not to use a timeout after the loss of 6, and Cunningham is brought down early again. James Carpenter, 99, in there along with Jarius Rumenank, 7. And now you think the Cardinals, yes, have to burn.
Louisville, second charge timeout. The timeout will be 30 seconds.
I'm just so impressed with this rush defense that currently Louisville's done the zone read. That hasn't worked. Okay, so they say, okay, let's now run a quarterback draw with Malik. And they're still not able to get anywhere. It's a well-coached team. This defensive line is the strength of this defense, and they are playing at a very high level right now.
And the JMU run defense, which is allowing 55.6 yards per game, best in the country by a full 20 yards per game, has come out and performed tonight as the Cardinals are stuck on 45 yards rushing. Here you see Lance Taylor there in the black hat. You mentioned, Mike, he told us that they're hoping to get the numbers advantage back against JMU when they bring all those hats into the box. When you have the quarterback run, you take back the numbers edge. But so far, Cunningham's been quiet on the ground, 8 carries for 4 yards. 2 running backs for Cunningham, who opts to throw on 3rd down and goal, and now he looks to run, and again he's brought down. Mikhail Kamara, back from an injury, has been busy tonight, brings up 4th down.
Yeah, we got Mikhail Kamara out of Stonebridge High School. And there's just nothing open for Malik. I mean, there's nothing there. They went to another man coverage look.
Timeout. Louisville.
But there was nowhere to go.
Timeout.
The theme, the key,
Timeout will be 30
week
seconds.
we heard from both sides
Please reset the
discipline.
clock to 3 seconds.
They're well coached. And they come into playing an ACC opponent, and they are sticking to who they are. Right here, a little play action pass. He's looking to throw a skinny post. It's not there. Steps up in the pocket. But play after play, we are seeing that this JMU defense is just not going to get out of place. They're going to be in the right spot at all times. And that's tough. That's tough on an offense to execute when you don't have guys on the other side messing things up. Often you hear about a teammate lose a game. JMU does not beat themselves.
It brings out James Turner, who went 2 for 3 last week. Missed 1 field goal against Wake Forest from 47. It snapped a streak of 12 consecutive makes. This one from 28, and it is pure. So we got a tie ball game at halftime between Big Bad Louisville from the ACC and little old James Madison from the Sun Belt. Stay tuned for our halftime report coming up right after this break. The Cards and the Dukes deadlock. Cards through the air. JMU is tied, led by Percy Ajay Obase, who's at 83 yards in the first half. They're deadlocked.
And Louisville scores right before half, gets that field goal. Easily could have been 6 points once they got down to that 10-yard line, but can they double up? Can they get more points coming out of the locker room in the second half?
Connor Madden boots it deep through the end zone as Jawhar Jordan watches it sail, and Malik Cunningham and the Cardinals will come out for the first drive of the second half. Malik was 8 of 13 for a $119 and a touchdown in the first half for a strong rating of 163.8. Only 9 carries for 5 total yards as the Dukes were up in his kitchen all first half.
They really were, and JMU's defense is doing exactly what Louisville's coaches predicted. They stick to what they do. They're going to play man coverage, and they're going to blitz guys off the edge. And when you do that, you have chance for big plays on the outside, one-on-one, receivers versus DBs. And in this second half, for Louisville to win, they're going to need to hit some of these big plays down the field.
Tiyon Evans, the running back, and Cunningham puts it in his belly to start the third quarter after a gain of 3. Evans is brought down. Again, this JMU run defense, the best in the country statistically, holding opponents under 56 yards a game. And that's even including their last time out against Marshall when Kalen Layburn ran for 151 and 2 touchdowns. It is the best run defense in America by the numbers. On 2nd down and 7, Cunningham to throw and whistles it out wide, completes. Again, it's Tyler Hudson, his favorite receiver, to move the chains.
Just a simple out route here, but Malik does a good job hitting his back foot, balls out right on the sideline, no chance for the DB to make the play, and just continue to move the change.
They call him T-Huddy. He has been as advertised in his first season with the Cards after transferring over from Central Arkansas, where he was the Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year in 2020. Again on the ground, Evans made the first Duke miss. That was Carpenter who got in there unscathed, and it's a gain of 4 or 5 for Evans on 1st down.
And I feel like that's one of the first times we've seen this defensive line get in the backfield and not make a play. James Carpenter was a guy that they talked about. They said he's a former walk-on, but he plays really hard. And you see the effort that he has right here. These guys do a great job using their hands, getting off of offensive linemen and getting into that backfield for the potential tackle for loss.
Evans one more time, finds some space around the left side, backpedals with some Dukes on his back toward midfield. 1st down Louisville into JMU territory.
Just another inside zone. Tiyon sees the cut back lane. Big gaping hole using his vision.
Oh, broken play as Cunningham or Evans, one of the two, went the wrong way, and Malik just has to slide forward for a loss of 1.
What happens here?
Oops.
I can't tell from the look, but you know, Louisville loves to feature this pistol formation. Sometimes when you're in those gun runs with the running backs next to you, it makes it a little easier. But those pistol runs get a little confused. It's like being under center.
2nd down and 11. Again, they try the run. Evans bounces off some tacklers, stays on his feet, drags more Dukes for a Louisville 1st down. Number 7's down to the 35. It took the entire JMU defense to bring him down. Sean Johns gets credit for the tackle after a 15-yard run.
What a run by Tiyon Evans. This is what they're missing when he's been hurt. Just so strong, bouncing off guys, not willing to go down. Took 3 guys to get him down. This guy's a strong back. Transfer from Tennessee, and I know Louisville is glad that they got him.
It was great to see him back last week after he missed the Pitt game. He ran for over 100 yards on just 11 carries against Wake Forest in that dominant win. Another 1st down. This is Jawhar Jordan as Evans gets a blow. And there is Carpenter again, who might as well build a house along the line of scrimmage because he is hard to move. He's a guy who set a state record in Virginia in the shot put.
He's earning this break. He needs a few plays to get back ready to go. Love how hard this guy plays. He leaves it all out there.
Back in the pistol on 2nd down and 8. Cunningham throws. Wide open man is Hudson again. Brings a couple defenders with him into the red zone for a 1st down. Louisville working on the freshman Chauncey Logan.
And you're beginning to see some separation that Tyler Hudson's creating. You see the press bail. They get out of there. He snaps it around. They're getting the ball out of Malik's hands quick. And Tyler Hudson is really starting to show up for this Louisville offense.
These guys look like they've been playing together for a long time. Cunningham's 5th year in the program. Hudson's 1st. Back on the ground with Jordan. And Jordan running hard. Down near the 10-yard line. So they've got 2 running backs who used to wear orange. Jordan, the Syracuse transfer, Evans, the Tennessee transfer. And they have been productive to start this 3rd quarter. Again, it's Jordan on 2nd and 3, and this time A wall of Dukes are there, and again, it's James Carpenter after the breather back out there making plays.
There really is a wall. It is hard to run the ball on this defense. Continue to load the box. But really, this is the most successful we've seen this Louisville offense move the ball on a consistent basis tonight.
They bring Evans back in there on 3rd down and 3. Tight set for the Cards. Cunningham to throw. Here comes the heat. And he got wrestled down again. Isaac Ukwu, who has lived in the backfield, makes the sack.
Isaac Ukwu has the most sacks on the team. They bring 2 blitzers off the edge. Running back tries to blitz him up, but the ball isn't out quick, and Ukwu is there to take down Malik.
Looked like Marshawn Ford, who you see there, was running free to the left side in the flats. Cunningham didn't see him, and it sets up a field goal attempt for James Turner. This one from 35. Turner's 1 for 1 tonight. Make it 2 for 2. That is center cut again. 13-10 Louisville back out in front as Turner's great season continues.
If there's anyone here who knows what.
Knocked through by James Turner, Louisville's kicker, who's now 14 of 16 on the season and 2 for 2 tonight. The Cardinals lead the Dukes of James Madison 13-10 as JMU gets the ball for the first time in this 3rd quarter. Sammy Malinaji calls for the fair catch to bring it out to the 25. And here comes Todd Centeio. Toddy touchdown, who was quiet in the first half, just 2 for 6 for 27 yards through the air. Didn't matter for the Dukes because they ran for 117 and a touchdown.
As much as I want to see Todd Centeio throw it around the yard, there's really no need to. I mean, they're running the ball so effectively, it's been so efficient that I expect them to just stick to what they did in the first half. So as much as I love seeing a quarterback throw it around, I don't know if it's going to really change at this point in the game.
They rode Percy Ajay-Obase, 31, who's out there with Centeio. 16 carries for 83 yards and a score in the first half. And he starts the 3rd quarter with the pill. A first down run that goes for 6 with 17 carries tonight, by the way. Ajay-Obase has moved into 3rd place all-time in attempts in JMU program history. He's top 5 in yards, carries, and rushing touchdowns.
And I think it's important to point out that he had options to leave. He could have gone to a bigger school, but this is a guy that bleeds purple and gold. He wanted to stay at JMU. He wanted to finish what he started. And he is a heck of a player for the Dukes.
That's a great point, Mike, especially considering they're not eligible for the postseason this year. Sun Belt Championship or bowl game. That time he cuts and he got stuffed. It'll go down as a loss of 1 as Des Tell, 99, brought him down.
Yeah, he wanted to finish what he started. He gets to JMU. They make the move up to FBS. Could have left for a bigger school, but it was important to him to finish and start his career as a JMU Duke.
And by the way, the fact that JMU isn't eligible for the postseason is a rule that's not only antiquated, but never really made sense in the first place when you're transitioning from FCS to FBS. You have to take 2 transition years. They will appeal the NCAA to trim that to 1, which they should win considering how good they've been this year. Play clock's at 2, now 1. Centeio gets the snap and a flag flies behind the play. This will be a delay of game against the Dukes.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And just to wrap up that point, James Madison has been preparing for the transition to from FCS to FBS for over 15 years. They actually brought in a consulting firm to Harrisonburg back in 2013 who said they would have been ready then. They ended up waiting almost a decade after that. Kurt Cignetti's team has moved up, and the spirit of the rule behind the transition years is to ensure teams don't rush it or don't go up to make some money and then go back down. That's not the case with JMU. They should be playing in the postseason this year. 3rd down and 10. Ajay-Obase on the carry from the shotgun. Picks up 6, and he'll be short by about 4 yards as MJ Griffin makes the tackle.
It's 2 times now that we've seen them run the ball on 3rd and long rather than unleash Todd Centeio. You see Kurt Cignetti talking to Todd right now. You wonder if there was an option to get to a pass there. Not exactly sure, but they're having a long conversation over there on the sideline.
Yeah, they are really hesitant to throw the ball. You see also involved there is Tino Sunseri, the quarterback's coach. Great player at Pitt back in the day. They bring out Sam Clark for another punt. He hit one 64 yards in the first half. Braden Smith catches it near his own 20 and makes a couple of Dukes miss. Almost made it out to the 30-yard line. And Louisville will start at the 29 for their second offensive drive of the third quarter. ABC Saturday Night Football game presented by Capital One. The undefeated 7th-ranked TCU Horned Frogs, maybe their toughest test of the season as they go to Austin to take on Bijan Robinson and the number 24 Texas Longhorns, who look great tonight against Oklahoma State. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, and it's also available on the ESPN app. How good is Texas? It's a question a lot of people are asking. Ranked in the college football playoff poll despite 3 losses, but a lot of people love the talent on that roster. It is first down and 10 for Malik Cunningham and the Louisville Cardinals offense, starting at their own 29. Tiyon Evans. He's been busy and he is free. Tiyon Evans. Kiss him goodbye. Touchdown Cardinals. 71 yards.
For the first time all day, JMU gives up the explosive run. This is what they live by. Do not give up the big play. But Tiyon Evans, back-to-back weeks, had a 60-yard touchdown last week against Wake Forest. First play of the series. Great job cutting, finding the hole, and using his speed the rest of the distance.
The drive goes one play, 71 yards, 12 seconds. The Tennessee transfer Tiyon Evans flying high in that Iron Wings jersey. A big pop for Louisville as James Turner adds the extra point.
That might be just what this Louisville offense needed. They needed to break a big play, and Tiyon Evans was able to find the gap in the defense and take it the rest of the way for a touchdown.
That was quick for Tiyon Evans in Louisville. They took over on their own 29. 71 yards and 12 seconds later, it's a one-play touchdown drive as Evans on a big house call for the second week in a row after a 60-yarder against Wake last week. Louisville now leads by 10 as they kick it away and field it inside the 10 on a fair catch by Malinaji. And Mike, let's go back to that touchdown.
And all night we've talked about how JMU loves to load the box. Right here they have 9 guys in the box, but if one guy gets out of his gap integrity, that allows for the big hole, and there's no safety home to make a play on Tiyon Evans.
Once he broke free, there was no catching him. He missed the last 2 games before the Wake Forest game last week when he ran for over 100 on just 11 carries. And having fresh legs in November is pretty rare. Evans has them, and you saw him on that 71-yard score. So now Todd Centeio and James Madison back to work at the 25. Centeio keeps it this time on the read option. Finds a little space out to the right side as he skips out of bounds with a gain of 4. On the edge, MJ Griffin made the tackle.
And how long are they going to be able to afford to stick to this run game? We're now in a 2-possession game, down 10. You can still stick to it, but if it gets to a 3-possession game, if they score another field goal, Louisville scores another field goal, they're going to have to start throwing the ball more than they have so far.
That's a great point, Mike. They've only thrown it 6 times tonight. Centeio's 2 for 6 for 27 yards. There's a guy who threw for 468 the last time we saw him against Georgia Southern, a JMU program record. Give it back to Percy Ajayi-Obasai. He gets stood up by Momo Sanogo. An old school middle linebacker with the neck roll and no gloves, and the transfer from Ole Miss brings up 3rd down.
Love the neck roll. Momo Sanogo, he is the heart and soul of the defense. Transfers in from Ole Miss, already has his MBA, working on his 2nd master's. They say from the moment he got on campus, he was a leader and is already a captain. They didn't have enough good things to say about their leader and captain.
Go back to 2018 when he was a sophomore. He had 112 tackles. Second most by a Rebel since Patrick Willis was playing in Oxford. Third down, JMU. They keep it on the ground again on third down. That's Latrell Palmer, and that's going nowhere. So one more time, they've got this prolific quarterback, and they opt not to put the ball in his hands.
I just don't understand that one. I understand wanting to stick to your plan, but at some point you have to throw the ball. It's 3rd and 5, and you have a 6-year quarterback who has really been your best player on offense all season long. Let him throw the ball. Give him a chance. We saw him hit Chris Thorin earlier in the game. Chris Thorin is top 10 in the country in receiving yards a game, and he's barely touched the ball tonight.
It almost makes you wonder, Mike, if he's still dealing with the after effects of that pulled oblique, which forced him to miss their last game against Marshall. There's Clark out to punt it away again. And lots of contact will lead to a penalty, and Louisville will have good field position. It was Braden Smith back to receive, and he got clotheslined. And hopefully he's okay.
There is no foul for kick catch interference. The defender was blocked into the receiver. First down.
So Jaden Mines made contact, got pushed into him. Check it out.
Yeah, you'll see the Louisville player is actually the one to push him in to Braden Smith.
Yeah,
that doesn't feel good.
Man.
You hope he's all right. I hope it's just the wind knocked out of him. But you hope it's not a hip or a rib. Definitely doesn't look comfortable.
Yeah, a little ginger. Scary play. It was Jarvis Brownlee, the FSU transfer, who pushed Jaden Mines into Braden Smith. It's a long walk back to that Louisville sideline. Some of the fans here at Cardinal Stadium are upset that they didn't make that call, but upon further review, it clearly was the right call, just an unfortunate circumstance.
Ruling on the field, the ball was recovered by Louisville.
Yeah, that's the other part of that.
Drew, now this is a big drive for this Louisville offense. They come out at halftime with 10 points already, and we're barely 8 minutes into the third quarter. If they can get a score here, make it a 3-possession game, it's going to have big implications on the way this fourth quarter is played for JMU. Clearly, JMU is going to have to start throwing the ball more.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, Mike. Like, JMU, for whatever reason, has not looked comfortable throwing the ball. They haven't even attempted to throw in a couple third down and longs. So let's see what the pause is here with Jeff Flanagan, our referee. Our guess is as good as yours.
Previous play, it's under further review.
Okay. So in all that confusion with Smith getting leveled after his own teammate threw a Duke into him, let's just make sure that this is all clean.
Was there a fumble or targeting? What do we think this is here?
So just to review, Braden Smith got crushed. as far as we know, so it should be JMU football.
Yeah, the fact that Louisville ran into it.
After further review, the receiving team did touch the ball. The kicking team recovered the ball. The ball will belong to James Madison at the 30-yard line on the right hash mark.
It's Kyle Davis who recovered it, and how about that for a change of fortunes?
That is a huge play, because if it was just the JMU defender that ran into him, then it would have been a penalty, but because Louisville blocked him into it, now it's a fumble. I mean, it clearly hits his leg. And you talk about a potential game-changing play.
And how about Kyle Davis, the long snapper, getting on his horse down there and recovering the muffed punt. So James Madison has some life after their offense went silent. They start at the 30 of Louisville. Centeo to throw on the run, and he sails it high and out of bounds. Chris Thornton was in the vicinity, but his receiver is only 5'8". You would have to be about 10 feet tall to haul that one in.
And finally, we see somewhat of a naked bootleg. They've been running it all day. Now he's going to ride the fake, but it's a designed pass to get him out of the pocket. Only problem was is the Louisville player was coming right off the edge. He had to get the ball out of his hands quick, and the play didn't have time to develop.
Not a typo, folks. Only 7 throws for JMU and 30 rushes. Make it 31 as number 31, Ajay Obase, goes nowhere. Maybe a gain of 1 as Desmond Tell, the 6'1", 296 nose tackle, was there on the stop along with Momo Sonogo.
And Brian Brown says, okay, JMU, if you want to load the box, we can do the same thing. We're going to load the box on you and start forcing you to throw the ball.
Again, keep in mind, Camden Wise has a career-long field goal of 35. From here, it would be about 47 or 48. Might be 4-down territory again for the Dukes.
Showing pressure.
Movement pre-snap.
Ball start. Offense, number 58. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's the center, Tanner Morris, and now a 3rd down becomes even tougher. They're 2 of 8 on 3rd down tonight, and they were 0 of 17 in their last game against Marshall.
And that's a big penalty right there. Kurt Signetti talked about we can't have pre-snap penalties, let alone right at the 30-yard line. Now you knock us back to the 35. That's out of field goal range. Right here, what JMU needs to do is they need to look to get about a 10-yard completion to get them back into field goal range and make this a 1-possession game.
On 3rd and 15, time for Centeo. Now he's flushed. Throws on the run, and he sails it high again. There were a bunch of Cardinals in the vicinity. He was looking for Drew Painter, the 6'3" tight end. But now it's 4th down and 15. This would be a 52, 53-yarder for Camden Wise, whose career long is 35.
And this is no man's land. You're on the 35-yard line, you punt it, you're not gaining a whole lot. Field goal kicker out of his range, but 4th and 15. I mean, the numbers are really low on converting this. Let's see what they do right here.
And now they got to rush him out with 10 seconds on the play clock. They are going to try a field goal from 50 plus. That was Camden Wise out there.
James Madison,
now,
first charge, timeout.
JMU will talk this over.
30 seconds.
And Kurt Signetti told us that Connor Madden, their kickoff specialist, who's a transfer from D3 Bridgewater, has a bigger leg, so maybe he'd get the call in a situation like this, but that time it was Camden Wise out there.
And I wonder what all the confusion was. What was going on of what took them so long to get out there? You know, you burn the timeout. Not a huge deal at this point in the game, but you always want to save those timeouts, especially in the second half, particularly when you're down.
So Wise will try. He's 4 for 4 over his last 3 games, including tonight after he started just 2 for 6 this year. His career long is 35, which he made last time out against Marshall.
The scoreboard operator not to play music when the offense is approaching the ball. Please do not turn on the music when the offense is approaching the ball.
Jeff Flanagan laying down the law.
If I'm the Louisville fans, I take that personal. They better start getting loud.
What you got, Camden Wise, the redshirt junior from Blacksburg, from 52. Looks like it has the distance.
Oh.
It does not. Comes up just short. He almost got it there, though. That was close.
Try.
So how about the Louisville defense? After JMU got the ball at the 30-yard line of the Cardinals, they come up with zilch.
This is right on line. It looks like it has the distance, but falls just short. .35 long on the year. I mean, that clearly would have made it from about 48 to 50.
You know what would have made it from, partner? 47 before the false start.
Yes. Those are the type of plays that Kurt Cignetti is going to show tomorrow to his team about how those pre-snap penalties can end up costing you.
Malik Cunningham to throw on first down, floats it toward the boundary, and Tyler Hudson was in the area but too tall. Jawhar Edwards applied the pressure and put Cunningham on the turf. There is a flag near the line of scrimmage. Is it too much music again?
Unnecessary roughness, number 56 of the offense. The penalty is half distance to the goal. 2nd down.
That's Renato Brown, the right tackle.
Oh, I like that, the L and the thumb down.
So Brown, after the penalty, is out of the game. They put Michael Gonzalez, their most versatile offensive lineman, in there at right tackle. And it's 2nd down and 25. And this run play stood up, but Jawhar Jordan makes something out of nothing out past the 25 to set up 3rd down and a little shorter, but still a mile.
Yeah, you wonder what happened there. Personal foul on the offensive lineman. If I'm a defensive player, I'm like, hey, if I get a personal foul, I get thrown out of the game. Why doesn't the same thing happen for the offensive guys?
There's Michael Gonzalez, who played 4 different spots along the offensive line against Wake Forest last week, everything but center. 3rd down and 4th Street for Louisville here, with under 2 to play in the 3rd quarter, and they give it to Jawhar Jordan. It'll be 4th down and a mile, and the punt team will come out as Abi Nwabuaku Okonji, the Minnesota transfer, makes the tackle for JMU. Mark Fassett out to kick it away. Josh Surratt Cheese is back to receive. This is a low spiraling one. A chance maybe for Surratt. Just outside his own 25. He slammed the brakes and went out of bounds past the 35. A 9-yard return after a 41-yard punt. Tuesday, we've got the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese and the guys break them down from top to bottom, have coach reactions, as well as a live interview with committee chairman Boo Corrigan, the NC State AD. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN and the app. Mike, how far should Tennessee drop in the rankings?
Not far.
Still top 4?
They should be right around there. I mean, to go on the road to Athens, you can't have Bama jump them.
No, probably not Clemson.
Yeah. Definitely looking like they did. I bet they're going to stick around that 3-4 range.
First down and 10 for Todd Centeio. Throws again too high up that right sideline. Devin Ravenel was running in stride with the step, but Centeio couldn't connect. He's now 2 for 8 tonight.
It's got to be hard for Todd to get in a rhythm here. I mean, the throws are so sporadic. It feels like the first time they've really thrown on first down. Makes it hard on a quarterback to really get in a rhythm and a feel for the game when you're barely throwing the football.
This is JMU's 4th possession of the half. Still looking for their first down. And Ajay Obase's going nowhere. So a run on 2nd down and 10 brings the Dukes back. It'll be 3rd and 11 or 12 against this loud Cardinal Stadium and this electric Louisville defense. The in-house music got the message from Jeff Flanagan.
They cut that off pretty quick.
Yeah.
I wanted to see these kids dancing to Michael Jackson.
I was loving the Michael Jackson. They beat it off. About 20 seconds on the timer, which is now below 10. 3rd and 11 for Centeio. Louisville brings the heat. Centeio throws, floats it, and Thornton didn't see it coming. So as the 3rd quarter comes to a close, James Madison's struggles on offense continue.
Yeah, it looks like Chris Thornton lost it in the lights right there. But here we got Tiyon Evans, the big play of the 3rd quarter, which has given Louisville this 2-possession lead with 1 quarter left to play.
As the home team leads 20-10 heading to the 4th quarter, and James Madison has to punt it away. Sam Clark out for another kick. Braden Smith back to receive. Good to see that after he was shaken up on the last punt by JMU. This one is short and tailing toward the sideline, out of bounds. Louisville will have it past their own 30. Drew Carter and Mike Lennon back with you in the Derby City to see a Cardinals defense that is on point. I mean, there are very few defenses playing better than this one in the country. James Madison, they got their quarterback. Been erased in the 3rd quarter.
It was a really balanced first half. Both teams' defenses were really controlling the game, but in this 3rd quarter, that big run by Tiyon Evans, and really Louisville has found a way to run the ball better than they were in the first half.
Malik Cunningham back to work, and they keep it on the ground with Tiyon Evans, who almost busted free for another one. Francis Meehan saved a potential big play.
Right here again, the cutback lane and the missed tackle. Tiyon Evans continues to see those cutback lanes, puts his foot in the ground, uses his vision.
And that's not fun to see. Evans, who missed a couple games in a row before coming back for the Wake Forest game, limps off the field, replaced by Jalen Mitchell. Cunningham fakes it to him, throws a dart to Tyler Hudson. Into JMU territory as Hudson's big night continues. That's a gain of 18.
Just a little quick play fake, sell that run that they've been doing so good lately, and then find Tyler Hudson on that glance route, that deep slant route right in that void against man coverage.
Hudson up to 5 catches for 98 yards. Louisville's top receiver in his first year in the program after transferring from Central Arkansas. He's at the bottom of your screen now as Cunningham looks to throw again, has to evade the rush, and he can't. They got him in the backfield. Jordan Swan, the cornerback, comes in with his first sack of the year.
And Jordan Swan comes off the edge. Senior player, they bring 2 guys off the edge. Louisville does not have enough to pick it up. The running back does a good job, but that's a play where Malik has to get the ball out of his hands. He is hot. They don't have an answer for Jordan Swan other than a quick answer with Malik throwing hot.
3rd sack tonight for JMU's defense. This is Mitchell. testing the right side, and he got chopped down near the line of scrimmage, or the original line of scrimmage, by Trent Hendrick, who's playing a lot more with Jalen Walker out to set up 3rd down and 10. Mitchell was their top rusher last year with 722 yards and 5 scores. Part of a rotation this year with Evans, Jordan, and Cooley. Again, Travion Cooley not playing tonight due to personal issues.
JMU showing pressure.
And they bring it. 5 Dukes come after Cunningham with a spy. Steps up and throws a missile. Hudson has it inside the 10. Touchdown, Cards. 44 yards to the crib. Malik to T. Honey again. Malik Cunningham has tied Lamar Jackson for 5th most touchdowns.
This is the best play Malik Cunningham has made all day. He steps up into the pocket with the pressure in his face, finds his guy Tyler Hudson on that in cut, and Tyler Hudson uses his speed to get in the end zone.
James Turner on for the extra point, the 69th passing touchdown of Cunningham's career, and it was a nice one.
A great job by Tyler Hudson winning against man coverage. Malik Cunningham stepping up in the pocket and finding his go-to receiver for 6.
Tyler Hudson, 6 catches, a $142 and a touchdown. It went for 44 yards, and it gave Louisville a 3-score lead. 20 unanswered for the Cardinals after the Dukes led 10-7 early 2nd quarter. Kickoff by Brock Travelstead. Touchback after some confusion for Sammy Malignaggi. And the Dukes will start at the 25. Coming up tonight after Wake Forest and NC State over on ACC Network, the Huddle crew has a complete wrap-up of that game and the whole day. Highlights, analysis, interviews with players and coaches. They've got you covered over on ACC Network and the ESPN app. And I'm sure they'll be talking about Louisville. Yes, Coach Satterfield, they do talk about your program on ACC Network. It'll be the first 4-game win streak, barring a miraculous comeback here for JMU since 2016, Lamar Jackson's Heisman year for Louisville. Early 4th quarter, JMU starts with a run to Percy Ajeobise. Momo Sanogo makes another tackle for the Cardinals.
3-score game, Drew. Time to see what Toddy can do.
They call him Toddy Touchdown or Touchdown Toddy. Either one, they need him to perform here. They did stage a 25-point comeback at App State earlier this year. They did the old Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl 28-3. The Mountaineers led, and the Dukes came all the way back. Kalon Black is the running back next to Centeo. Evades the rush, and he got crunched. Dorian Jones has been laying the wood all night long.
I mean, you look around at this Louisville defense, they got dogs everywhere. D-A-W-G. Unblocked, steps up, form tackle. That is exactly how you teach it to the Pop Warner kids right there. Perfect form tackle.
James Madison 2 of 10 on 3rd down tonight. This place is loud again. Centeo cuts it loose, left sideline, incomplete. Some contact, but no flag as he tried to find Terrence Green Jr. Jarvis Brownlee was right there in his hip pocket.
And Jarvis Brownlee is one of those dogs I was talking about. He is their physical press corner, and he uses that to ride him to the sideline, not giving much room for Todd Centeo to get it to his receiver.
Todd Centeo's 0 for 5 this half. Remember, he didn't complete a pass in the 1st quarter, so he's only completed 2 passes all night. They were both in the 2nd quarter. He's 2 of 11 for 27 yards. Brings out Sam Clark for another punt. Braden Smith back to receive, calls for the fair catch. No issues this time. Got hit late by a JMU special teamer, but no flags come in. Cards will start at their own 36. They're going to be feeling pretty good tonight, assuming they can put the finishing touches on a win over James Madison. The Cardinals trying to win their 4th consecutive game. They lead by 3 touchdowns and take over at their own 36. They've scored 20 points in a row after the Dukes led 10-7 early second quarter, and this JMU team is no slouch. First year in FBS, they started 5-0. First FBS team ever to be ranked in the AP Top 25 in their first season at this level. They've lost 2 in a row. Looks like it's going to be 3 straight as Louisville takes over on offense. Malik Cunningham starts in the pistol and steps up in the pocket, and this is where he's really dangerous. Head coach Scott Satterfield told us, you just let Malik be Malik. You don't want to put on the reins too much, but you also don't want him to get hurt, and he looks a little ginger after that one. There's also an injured Duke in the backfield. It's Mikhail Kamara, who came back tonight after missing the last 4. We'll take a break and come back and check on the redshirt freshman from Ashburn, Virginia after this.
This week is your
in the Commonwealth.
It is just crazy to me. Coming from Virginia, my brother played at Virginia Tech, and to see, I don't know what's more surprising, seeing Virginia and Virginia Tech that low, or seeing a school like Liberty at the top. I mean, JMU, regardless of the outcome tonight, they got to be proud and happy with the direction of where this program's going.
2nd down and 7. Malik Cunningham is complete to Braden Smith, who's out of bounds just short of the markers. And that was the FPI coming into this week. Liberty's only going to move up, up, and up after they went into Fayetteville and beat Arkansas as a 2-touchdown underdog today.
Liberty has really turned things around, and obviously they tied up Hugh Freeze there for a while.
8 years.
But JMU, I mean, they are arguably, you know, the best team in the state. I mean, what Liberty has done is obviously impressive, but equally as impressive is JMU in their first season in the FBS to even get in the top 25 at any point is really special.
Yeah, first team to ever do it in their first FBS year. There's Jawhar Jordan. His Twitter handle used to be Cut on Dime, and you saw why. Brings it down near the JMU 30 after a cutback for the ages, gain of 25.
And that is what you do with these outside zone concepts. You try to go front side, but if the back side is there, you cut back, and he did cut on a dime. And this JMU defense seems to be wearing down a little bit.
Jawhar Jordan, again, the Syracuse transfer, whose best career game was as a freshman with the Orange against Louisville when he had 223 all-purpose yards. He's got 66 on the ground tonight on 9 carries. And he's back out there. Again, no Travion Cooley tonight for the Cards. And Cunningham burns a timeout.
Timeout.
There's another headliner as Jawhar Jordan on the carry for Louisville, dragging Dukes for a first down. Francis Meehan on the tackle after the gain of 11. Going back to the slate for next week. These are on ESPN networks, remember. And then TCU and Texas. That might be the stiffest challenge for the Horned Frogs the rest of the way.
And I was curious how this Louisville team would come out today. You come off of a win, beating a top 10 team. Then next week, you're playing the number 4 team in the country in Clemson. Do they have the hangover? Are they looking ahead? But clearly, Scott Satterfield had these guys with the mindset to not overlook this JMU team.
Oh, look out. Cunningham lost the snap, picked it back up, and there goes 3. Malik Cunningham with another magic trick, and the fans here are used to it. Whoa! Torres Jones took him all the way to the brick wall, and we've got extra. This could get real bad, real fast. A little brouhaha, and Kirk Cignetti is right in the middle of it. JMU head coach has to be careful with the glasses on his pullover. A lot of contact happening over there. And let's see if Jeff Flanagan's crew can sort this out in a timely manner. There's a lot to break down here. We'll wait for the call, and then we'll show you the replay. And Cunningham still chirping. I don't blame him.
I'm curious what they're going to do here, because if you get ejected for unintentionally hitting someone helmet to helmet, what is happening here? Torres Jones, he plays hard. He's a sideline assigned player. Really good player, but you can't do that.
Yeah, let him go. So first of all, how does Cunningham even do this? I mean, lost the snap, picked it up, and found some room. Torres Jones, their top tackler, took him out of bounds and then some. Oh, he had him out of face mask. Whoa.
The plot thickens.
Now, according to the NCAA rulebook, as an offensive player, you can stiff arm and you can hit the face mask, but when you grab it and start to twist and turn the helmet, that's when it becomes an offensive penalty.
After the player's out of bounds, personal foul, flagrant personal foul, number 44 defense. Penalty be half a distance to the goal. Number 44 is ejected from the ballgame.
What do you think, Mike?
I don't like it after seeing the replay. I thought it was deliberate, where it's like, come on, what are you doing? He's all the way 5'10", all the way up to the wall out of bounds, but clearly Malik had him by the face mask. I mean, Malik was the one that kind of drug him.
Yeah, I'm with you. A little surprised. Let's go back and look at it. Watch Cunningham. He's got him by the face mask. I don't think Jones is the one initiating that. Let's hope our guy in the black hoodie's okay as well.
And Torres Jones says it right away. Like, if they're going to review helmet to helmet, why can't they review this? That's not right.
I mean, if this game were still hanging in the balance, that'd be a catastrophic missed call. And then for Cunningham to get back up and talk, I mean, it must have been something that happened afterward, because he had his face mask.
I mean, the optics of it looked bad.
They went all the way to the wall.
And we're lucky that didn't lead to more of a fight. I mean, as an offensive lineman, you have to have your quarterback's back. If you see something like this, you're assuming that Torres Jones
and Jones was pleading his case.
I mean, he says it right away. You can tell he's pointing to his face mask.
Got my face mask. Hey, good for the Galt House Hotel and Commonwealth Credit Union getting some extra pub. Actually, didn't expect that much advertising. What do we have here?
They're going to review this?
Is it too much music again? What's going on? There's Jeff Flanagan.
The previous play is under further review.
See, the crowd and the players, they have no idea what we see.
So what we've seen is Malik Cunningham going out of bounds, grabbing the face mask of Torres Jones, the JMU linebacker, who has been ejected. Scott Satterfield and Curt Cignetti both hoping for an explanation, which when both coaches seem perturbed by the officiating, you know something has gone awry.
I mean, think of your Scott Satterfield. You're standing 53 1/3 yards away from that. You see JMU's player drive your quarterback another 15 yards into the wall. Of course, you think it's a penalty, but little does he know that Malik kind of took him along for a ride.
Now, Steve Shaw, the NCAA coordinator of officials, says offensive face masks are not reviewable. So they can't rule this a foul on Cunningham, but could they potentially overturn the penalty against James Madison, which is a personal foul against Taurus Jones that has sent Taurus packing for the rest of the game. We've crossed the 3-hour threshold. It's 10:33 local. It's just almost about with a 7:35 kick here at Cardinal Stadium. It's been a fun weekend here in Louisville. A couple days at the races over at Churchill Downs, less than a mile away from Cardinal Stadium. Over in Lexington this weekend, it's the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland. Big weekend for the horse players in Kentucky. There you see Curt Cignetti right side of your screen. All up in Taurus Jones's grill. And he's putting the helmet back on, so maybe they will overturn this personal foul. And personal fouls other than targeting are also not reviewable, so I don't know what they're looking at.
After further review, there are 2 fouls on the play. It's a personal foul. Number 3 of the offense for grabbing the face mask out of bounds. Personal foul, number 44, unnecessary roughness on the defense. So those fouls will cancel. It'll be 2nd down and 5 from the 12-yard line. And number 44 may remain in the game.
Okay, so because it was ruled a flagrant against Taurus Jones, that's why they could review it, go back, tack on the face mask against Cunningham, which cancels out the personal foul against Taurus Jones, which also cancels out the ejection.
Good for Taurus Jones. He said it right away. I'm glad he'll get to finish his ball game.
I think in the time of that review, you could have actually run like 4 or 5 Kentucky Derbies.
Yeah, that was one of the most egregious out of bounds I've ever. It reminded me of Michael Orr in The Blind Side when he like takes him all the way into the stands. I'm like,
maybe run a 6th Kentucky Derby as Coach Satterfield talks it over. I mean, now you understand it from Satterfield's perspective, like you said, partner. He's 60 yards away from what happened. All he sees is his quarterback get dragged out of bounds all the way to the wall. What we see is that Cunningham really initiated it. I'd actually be angry if I were a JMU fan that there were even offsetting penalties, because I don't know what Taurus Jones did that was wrong.
Yeah, there should not have been a penalty on Taurus Jones.
All right. We'll play a little football. Second down and 5 after all that. Jawhar Jordan about a yard short of the marker as we cross 8 minutes to play in regulation. Mike, have you ever seen that before, where the quarterback drags the defender out of bounds?
I have never seen anything like that.
You didn't do that?
Malik almost got an Academy Award for it, acting like he didn't do anything either.
Pretty good. Again, it's Jordan with 5 on the timer. Cunningham on the keeper, escapes and goes down. It'll be a loss of a couple and bring up 4th down. Jarius Rumenink was the first one there for JMU. I would be surprised if Satterfield, after all the extra talking, decides to go for it here. Maybe add a little salt to the wound. Offense is out there on 4th down and 4.
I think they're just trying to stay out of the field. And then they're going to take a timeout. Looks like they're going.
Oh, they snap it. Cunningham floats it. End zone. Caught. Touchdown, Louisville. Braden Smith Tacks on the exclamation mark. Bruce rather with the touchdown. Either way, he was wide open, and Louisville has blown this wide open.
Amari Huggins-Bruce does a great job beating man coverage, running that corner route, and then Malik puts it in that back corner of the end zone where the JMU defender has no chance. You see the inside leverage, gets to the goal line, separates. Great ball, great catch, and may just do it for the game.
That is Malik Cunningham's 119th total touchdown at Louisville. He has tied Lamar Jackson's school record. Pretty good company. James Turner with the extra point.
Got to spend some time yesterday with Malik, and he's a fun guy to be around. So I'm happy for his success. To be mentioned in the same sentence as Lamar Jackson is special. And to me, he's the closest player we've seen in all of college football to Lamar Jackson. I mean, him wearing the same jersey obviously plays a role, but his style of play, his speed, it's a difference maker. There aren't many quarterbacks out there besides Lamar Jackson that can run the ball the way he can. But it's great to see him get a couple touchdowns through the air. Take another look at it right here. Amari Huggins-Bruce runs that corner route. It's just that basic smash concept that you see run at the high school level. And a good play call by Scott Satterfield to kind of put the final dagger in this JMU team.
Had a great conversation with Lance Taylor before the Louisville spring game this year, as we'll try that kickoff again, where he said, hey, listen, if Lamar Jackson never played at Louisville, people would talk about Malik Cunningham a lot differently, because considering how similar they are and the fact that they play for the same team, sometimes Malik is unfairly compared to Lamar Jackson. And I mean, no one is really going to stack up against Lamar Jackson, especially from a numbers perspective. So for Malik, a lot of the time the expectations have been outsized, but for the most part he's lived up to them, and what a career for Cunningham. Brock Travelstead to kick it away for the Cards. So now for James Madison and Todd Centeio. And you have no choice but to throw. Centeio has only completed 2 passes tonight on 11 attempts. They both came in the second quarter. This is the Duke's 6th possession of the second half. They are still looking for their first down. Credit the Louisville defense, which is playing as well as any unit in the country. Kalon Black is the running back who gets the call on first down. Puts his foot in the ground, turns it upfield for a gain of 6 on first down. There is a flag down in the backfield.
Holding, number 44 offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And Zach Horton, the tight end. So for James Madison, a bit of a rude awakening in their first FBS season. After they started 5-0, they were ranked in the top 25. This will be their 3rd consecutive loss, and they go to Old Dominion next week. 1st and 20 now for Centeio, completes to the running back. It is Black. Out of bounds in front of the original line of scrimmage.
There was no signs that Todd Centeio wasn't completely healthy. I don't think this came down to them not throwing the ball because his oblique wasn't 100%. I mean, all indications showed he had the bye week, he recovered, and was good to go. The second half just kind of got out of hand pretty quickly.
Centeio loads it up and uncorks one, and again, It is too far. He was trying to find Chris Thornton, who has been silent tonight outside of one catch for 7 yards.
And clearly Chris Thornton is the guy they want to get the ball to. I mean, as much as he's catching the ball, Kirk Cignetti, I said I need to get him the ball more. But just hasn't been able to get it done tonight.
Yeah, Thornton's averaging over 98 receiving yards per game, which is top 10 in the country. Tonight, one catch for 7 yards. And it's another 3rd and forever for JMU. 2 for 11 on 3rd down tonight. Centeio throws on the run. On the money. It's Thornton again. And that is complete for a 1st down.
Well, that's a good job by Todd Centeio, getting out of the pocket, rolling to his left, and then is able to get his hips and shoulders around and find Chris Thornton. Todd Centeio can stay in the pocket and make the throw, but he's also great at getting outside the pocket and making plays on the move.
Here comes the heat. Centeio avoids the sack, but only picks up 1.
Clearly, James Madison hasn't thrown the ball a lot today, but we've made a huge deal about these 8 turnovers, 8 sacks. They haven't really been able to get home or force any turnovers. It's just been more of a grinded out kind of game.
That was Raheem Craig who made the play. Bring up 2nd down and 9. Centeio gives it to Percy Ajay Obase to set up 3rd down and 5. And Mike, this Louisville defense, I mean, they're probably going to be ranked, if I had to guess, on Tuesday. They received a vote in the AP poll last week, which was unthinkable, considering what happened against Boston College to fall to 2-3, a loss that becomes more mind-boggling by the week. They'll probably be in the top 25. I mean, if I were a betting man, just with how dominant they've been the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you talk about it. After that game against Boston College, you got 2 and 3, and then you look at the rest of your schedule, and it's not so hopeful that they'll get bowl eligibility, but they're minutes away from reaching that 6th win and headed to a bowl. But it was not looking great after that BC game. I mean, you talk about BC, they're a struggling group. Lost to UConn last week. Got beat pretty solid by Duke last night. So that was definitely a low point for Scott Satterfield in this Louisville team.
By the way, UConn actually is not that bad. I think they're 500.
They are turning around.
Yeah. But still a rough loss for this Louisville team, and one that folks around here did not expect. That's Braden Smith back to receive the punt from Clark. Ankle tackle at the 15. Is you check out the remaining schedule for the Cards. Really, this was their best opportunity to seal bowl eligibility, because you go to Clemson, home NC State, at Kentucky to end things. I mean, it's a brutal slate. Scott Satterfield said this week he's never really seen a schedule like this.
This was a huge win for Scott Satterfield. I mean, Clemson looks like they're losing to Notre Dame, but they're going to be hungry. I mean, Clemson has the longest home winning streak in ACC history, so to go down to Death Valley is going to be tough for Louisville. Have an NC State team that's beating Wake Forest right now, and then finish up with your arch rival in Kentucky with a possible top 5 pick in Will Levis. So needless to say, this was a huge win to pick up that bowl eligibility.
And speaking of quarterbacks, Louisville sends out a new one. It is Brock Doman, the junior from Colorado Springs. He replaced Malik Cunningham after QB1 got hurt at BC and started versus Virginia, led Louisville to a win, the first of what's about to be a 4-game win streak. Hands it to Jawhar Jordan for a short gain on 1st down.
And that was a huge win that Brock led them to, going to Virginia, whose defense has actually really turned it around. And Brock broke off a big run, doing his best impression of Malik, and then started really settling in against that Virginia team and threw a couple touchdowns and played really well. So without him, you know, these next 3 games would mean even more. So it's always good having a good backup, especially when you have a guy with the style of play of Malik who tends to take some hits and get banged up. So Brock's seen a lot of time this year.
Again, it's Jordan, and Cunningham will have to wait at least a week to break that Lamar Jackson program record of 119 total touchdowns, which he tied earlier in this fourth quarter with a touchdown throw to Amari Huggins-Bruce. Cunningham also one behind Lamar in terms of rushing touchdowns with 49 for his career. Jackson has the program record for any position with 50. And speaking of quarterbacks in the ACC, Mike, we can't get out of here without talking about Drake May, who, again, put on an outstanding performance in a win over Virginia in Charlottesville today as Doman gets rid of it to Jordan, who has to spin some gold and does for a first down Cards. And there was a big flop after the play. There's going to be a post-whistle penalty against Louisville with a phenomenal acting job by a Duke on the back line.
The result of the play is a first down. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 86 on the offense. The penalty is half a distance to the goal. It will be 1st and 10. That's number 86. First unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
That's Elijah Downing, the redshirt freshman wide receiver from right here in Louisville.
Playing to the whistle. I mean, I was hoping he'd bring up Drake May. I mean, look. Windy day up in Evanston, but C.J. Stroud didn't do a whole lot. Bryce Young don't have the score, but it looks like they might lose. Hendon Hooker loses to Georgia. I mean, all those three guys, their stock might be going down, and Drake May might be the only guy stock's going up. So he's deserving of a trip to Manhattan at the very least.
You mentioned the score of Bama LSU. They're going to overtime 24-24, and I'm sure Bryce Young had a Heisman moment to force overtime. Another run for the Cards. Jordan got hog-tied after a short gain. But yeah, Drake May, like, we're getting to that point, you know, where he's pretty clearly the best quarterback in the ACC, at least statistically. And he is going to put up numbers as good as anyone's in the country. So send Drake May to New York. And it's crazy. We were talking about this yesterday, Mike, when you consider that UNC was one of the last teams in the ACC to announce their starting quarterback. It's like, hey, Drake May won the quarterback competition. Who's this guy? We know his family is good. They're legends at Carolina. And oh boy, whatever your expectations were, he has smashed it. JMU brought the heat. Jordan found the seam. Out of bounds to stop the clock with 1:07. Devin Coles on the stop, and that draws a flag. Draws a flag and
the player's out of bounds. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 26 defense. 15 yards, minute run, first down.
It's Jawhar Jordan. Getting a pep talk from Tiyon Evans, his fellow running back. Jordan is over 100 yards along with Evans. A couple of Cardinals have crossed the century mark. Evans 126 on just 10 carries. Jordan $113 on 16 carries.
Illegal substitution. 12-men in formation on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Doman still in there on 1st and 15. Jalen Mitchell going nowhere. Kai Holmes was the first Duke in on the stop.
See if they go victory formation. We talked about this yesterday with offensive coordinator Lance Taylor. They even do victory where they take a knee from the pistol But that drives offensive line coaches crazy because it goes for like a negative 5 yards. But they teach their quarterbacks, hey, step up. Don't take a knee at 5 yards. Move up a little bit so our yards and yards per carry don't go down too much.
You always got to consider it. It's like when a basketball player waits to take the full court shot until after the buzzer. The unconventional victory formation as Doman steps forward and takes a knee. And Louisville has won 4 in a row for the first time since 2016. And the Cardinals are bowl eligible again. The Ville ended on a 27-0 run.